me, this bike costs more than I thought. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's one, we're going to take a look at how much it costs to build my ultimate lightweight adventure bike or a dual sport. This is my 2019 WR250R. I've had it now for almost a year and have spent quite a lot of money modifying this bike. And why I'm making this video is just to give an idea to those who want to understand how much it costs to modify and build a dual sport to become an adventure bike. A lot of these costs, it doesn't matter about the bike itself, these costs are transferable to any dual sport, since almost all of the modifications aren't just specific to the WR. Some are, but all of them you would pretty much do to any kind of dual sport to get it to be adventure capable. Not to say that a stock WR250R or any stock dual sport isn't adventure capable from the get-go, but you do want to make some key modifications to make it more adventurized. So I did put out a poll on my community posts asking how much they thought, how much you guys thought the build was. So we'll come up with the answer at the very end, but yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we'll jump straight into it. I'll start off with the cost of the bike, how much it was to purchase, and then we'll start from the cheapest mods going up to the most expensive, and I'll group some of them up because some of them are kind of in a bundle and it doesn't make sense to split them up, and we'll go from there. All right, so to begin with, the cost of the bike, I paid $8,800, and the only modifications that came with the bike were the bark busters and the bash plate, the B&B bash plate. So it was pretty much bone stock, and yeah, I paid $8,800. Yeah, let's jump into the mods now and see just how high this build goes. All right, first up, the cheapest standalone modification on the bike is the GYTR tail tidy, and that comes in at a whopping $45. Next up, we've got the rear rack, which is a Nomadic Rack, and that one comes in at $120. That was actually one of the cheaper racks, and it's been solid so far. All right, moving on to the handlebars, we've got the quad lock assembly up front. That includes the vibration dampener, the mount, and the phone case, and that came in at $140. And actually, sorry, that includes also the USB charger. So $140 for the phone related stuff. Next up is the Parabellum Windscreen. So that modification was $150. There wasn't many options to choose from. There was the Parabellum or the screen for bikes, I think it was, but I like the look of the Parabellum, so I ended up choosing that one. Next up are the Sandman parts. So I have the Sandman case saver, rear chain guard and front sprocket guard. They totaled $185. A lot of that was actually shipping because it was coming in from the US. So yeah, they're nice to have, not important, but they look nice. All right, next up are the double takes, the double take Enduro mirrors. These came in at $215. And then next up was the rear sprocket upgrade, which was a 48 tooth Supersprox rear with a RK 120 link chain, which I broke down to 112 links, and that was $217 for those. Next up, the handlebars. So got the new Protaper contour wind and bend bars, and also the Protaper pillow top grips, and also RHK risers. I think they were 20 mil, and those cost $225 all up for those. Next up, some protection bits. So I added the B&B radiator guard and brake master cylinder guard. I love B&B, already had the bash plate, so easy choice to go with those. And they, how much were they? They were $258 for those two. All right, next up are the tires. So this included a Pirelli MT21 up front and the Dunlop D606 rear. Also included in the price are rim locks that I added, and they come up to a total of $330 for those. All right, next up are some Zeta parts, or Zeta, however you want to pronounce it. So I added the Zeta foot pegs, the brake lever, and the gear shifter, and they were a total of $365 for those. All right, so now we start getting pretty expensive. So, and the more bigger mods for the bike. So next up is the Safari fuel tank, and also the Ballard's fuel vent hose. That standalone was only $10, so it actually is the cheapest modification, but together they are a total of $582. So now we're starting to get up there in price. Alrighty, next up we've got the GYTR Exhaust, but also included in the price is the X-Up Delete. There is a servo motor which uses which is on the stock exhaust. I removed that, and then I also removed the motor. That leaves a check engine light on, so I got the X-Up Delete. But they total $605 for both of those. All right, one of the most important mods was the Seat Concepts seat. This is just the regular one, and this was $679. So pretty expensive, but an essential mod on the WR or any dual sport really. All right, and last but not least, the most expensive modification on the bike, and I haven't even been able to try it yet other than riding up at the street because I've just been recovering from a foot injury, but that is the Teknik Suspension. So that's they worked the front, worked the rear, new valving, new spring, and that came to a total of $1,595. So very expensive, but no, I've seen other suspension done, $2,000, $3,000. So that was quite palatable. And yeah, I actually am keen to try it out, but that is the most expensive modification on this WR250R. So that brings the grand total of the WR250R build to $14,511. Almost crossed that $15,000 threshold in the voting. So for everyone that got it right, good job. I didn't think it'd be that expensive when I first bought the bike to modify it, but it is an absolute weapon. I love this bike. I know I say it about a lot of bikes that I'm not going to sell them, but I really don't see myself selling this bike. I'm going to run this into the ground, and I mean that nicely. Like I'd love to hit 100,000 kilometers on this bike one day. Like that is the goal, especially without having to rebuild it. So I know there's people out there that have done it, so I won't be the first, but I'm keen to rack up some more kilometers, try out the new suspension, and I will come out with a long-term review on the WR once I've racked up some more kilometers, because I think I've done over 5,000 now. I think in order to give a good long-term review, I'd want to hit the 10,000 kilometers. So look out for that video, but I hope this was informative. If you enjoyed the video, like it and subscribe if you want, but I will catch you guys in the next video.